Today, a lot of people use AI in their daily workflows. Regardless of your background, you must have come across either generative AI or agentic AI. Generative AI are reactive in nature. They require a user to input something and then they generate a response for you. While agentic, on the other side, is proactive. They require low or minimal user effort to actually perform an action. So think of it as a chain of reaction, something that you have already pre-programmed, and then it just automate everything and do all your tasks for you without requiring you to do any further action. Now, there's something common to both generative and agentic AI, which is LLM. LLMs are large language models which are trained on millions of data. On today's episode, I'm going to break down how AI agent works behind the scenes, focusing more on generative AI. So imagine a user goes to ChatGPT and use the text window. They input a text and it gets a response in a very fast pace record time. Now, nobody knows what's happened behind the scene. But in today's video, I'm going to explain what happens behind the scene. How AI processes your data and gives you a response in record time. Let's get right into it. So I have an Escalibur AI agent flow diagram that I'm going to be using to explain this process. So now what happens here is that okay, let's go down bit user input tokenization now. So it all starts with you actually. You type a message, a question, or a command. Now a prompt isn't just text sitting in your box. The moment you hit send, it kicks off an entire processing pipeline inside the agent. Your input is a trigger for everything that follows. Behind the AI can understand your message, it needs to translate into a language it actually speaks. AI doesn't really understand the words that we do. It breaks your sentence into chunks called token, sometimes a word, sometimes a syllable, sometimes even punctuation. For example, the sentence, how does AI work? Each token becomes a number, and the streams of number is what the model actually processes. It sounds this simple, but it's actually like a complicated process behind the scenes. Now, let's move to retrieval augmented generation, which is RAG. Now, this is where the things get really interesting because most AI were trained on data up to certain point in time. What happens when you ask about something recent or something specific to your business or document? That is where RAG's augmented generation comes in. The agent retrieved the most relevant piece of the information and add it to the context. So when the AI reasons, it is not just guessing, it's actually working based on factual data. Now, RAG is why modern AI can feel so surprisingly accurate and up to date. Now, think of all of this process as the first steps to the main process. If you look at the reasoning aspect, now you hit the call of the operation, which is the LLM large language models, where it acts upon. You remember I said both agentic and generative AI, they have something in common, which is the LLM. Now the model takes everything, your token data, and they retrieve the content from RAG, its own trained knowledge, and start reasoning. It predicts everything that is going to happen, what next, and so on. And then it's not just an autocomplete. LLM is like the brain of everything that you are looking at and how everything functions. Now, let's take a look at the tool section. The tool is a very critical part of it as well. But this is really more interesting when you are working with agents and all that. But then you don't necessarily have to be agent. You could decide that you want to call a web API or you want to execute a code snippet and so on and so forth. This is where tool calling and function calling really shines a lot. Now, if we should go and move to the decision loop, which is like the last step for all the reasoning stage, it's going to be something like getting to make decisions and trying to find the next probable value when it has like done a lot of reasoning and so on. Now, does the agent just stop there? Not necessary. This is the part most people don't know about the loop. After each reason and two calling cycle, the agent check, do I have enough answer or do I need to run the whole chain from this cycle again? It needs more, right? It needs to run and run and run until it finds the right answer for your questions or for whatever thing you're asking it. And after that, it generates an output to you, an output that is going to now be decoded from token to a word, and that is what we all understand. But what is very incredible in this part is that all of these computations just happen in record time. So you don't even know that these things are happening behind the scene. You only see milliseconds of, answer generated to you when you just dropped your text. So this is just like an overview, not really like a deep dive into what and how all of this goes. I'm going to explain more based on each of these AI agent flow in my next video. So please stay tuned. So next time, when you ask an AI question and you get a response, you should know what happens typically behind the scene from the whole process from start to finish. Tokenization, RAGs. This video must have given you an overview on how everything works. So if you like this video, please subscribe and share to your friends. On my next episode, I'm going to be talking more about tokenization and RAGs in details. Bye.